Have you ever stopped to wonder if the apps you scroll through every day might be doing more than just entertaining you? Could it be that behind some of those trending posts, viral dances, and endless feeds, there's something spiritual happening? Something dark? Something you can't see but can definitely feel? In today's video, we are going to uncover 6 dangerous social media apps that open portals to demonic influence. What you are about to hear may completely change the way you view the digital world, and it may even open your eyes to spiritual realities you never imagined existed online. We're going to expose how the enemy hides behind screens, sounds, and images, using technology as a subtle weapon to influence minds, corrupt hearts, and lead souls away from God. This is not just about deleting an app, it's about understanding the invisible war happening every time you open your phone. So let me ask you this. Are you truly seeking the truth? Because if you are, then you must watch this video till the end. The Bible warns us in Hosea 4:6, "My people are destroyed for lack of knowledge." Don't let ignorance give the enemy power over your life. Before we begin, make sure you subscribe to Deep Bible Mysteries. A lot of people miss powerful revelations like this because they watch but never subscribe or turn on the notification bell. So click that button right now, and also tell us in the comments which country you're watching from and what your thoughts are about this topic. Now let's uncover the 6 social media apps that may be opening unseen portals to demonic influence. Chapter 1. TikTok. The portal of possession through trends. TikTok has grown into one of the most influential platforms in the world, shaping the thoughts, desires, and behaviors of millions. What appears to be harmless entertainment often carries hidden spiritual influence. Viral sounds, challenges, and dances are not always random. Many contain messages and patterns that can subtly align the spirit with darkness. Participation in these trends, even unknowingly, can create openings for demonic influence. Viral content often glorifies pride, rebellion, and lust, normalizing behaviors and attitudes that distance the heart from God. Each repetition of a trend, each mimicry of gestures or lyrics, acts as a form of agreement with the underlying spirit behind the content. The allure of attention, validation, and popularity fuels the spirit of obsession with fame, which echoes the same pride that caused Lucifer to fall from heaven. The platform thrives on the desire for recognition, transforming ordinary users into participants in a spiritual battlefield. Attention becomes currency, and the pursuit of likes, shares, and followers can gradually replace spiritual focus with worldly obsession. TikTok becomes more than an app. It becomes a digital altar where the offering is the heart, the mind, and the desire for praise, subtly opening portals to influence that remain invisible to the casual observer. Chapter 2. Instagram, the idol of vanity and comparison. Instagram has become more than just a place to share photos. It has evolved into a stage where self-image and approval dominate the heart. Every perfectly curated post, every filtered face, every viral story quietly teaches the spirit of comparison and envy. Followers and likes become currency, and the pursuit of digital admiration slowly transforms into a form of worship, where attention is offered to the world instead of God. The constant exposure to edited perfection fosters pride in some and insecurity in others. Both are tools the enemy uses to shape hearts and desires, leading people to value appearance over character, popularity over purpose, and human approval over divine guidance. Filters and trends push users to imitate ideals that are unattainable in reality, feeding the spirit of vanity and dissatisfaction, while distracting them from God's plan. In this digital culture, identity becomes fragile. Self-worth is measured not by virtue or faith, but by likes, comments, and follows. The desire to be seen, admired, and praised strengthens pride, while the fear of being ignored feeds insecurity. Both open doors for spiritual deception, quietly reshaping the mind and heart. The Bible warns in 1 John 2:16, "For all that is in the world, the lust of the flesh, the lust of the eyes, and the pride of life, is not of the Father, but is of the world." Instagram thrives on all three, offering endless images and stories that glorify what is fleeting, hollow, and worldly. Instagram is no longer just a social media platform. It has become a mirror that reflects both the hidden desires and the unguarded weaknesses of the soul. subtly opening portals to pride, envy, and distraction from God. Chapter 3. Snapchat, the disappearing doorway to darkness. Snapchat presents itself as a platform of fleeting fun, a place where messages disappear and moments vanish in an instant. But behind this illusion of impermanence lies a spiritual danger. The ephemeral nature of Snapchat encourages hidden conversations, secret exchanges, and unmonitored behavior that can open doors to sin and deception. The temptation to share without accountability fosters habits that often carry spiritual consequences far beyond what the eye can see. The temporary messages create a false sense of security, convincing users that what is done in private leaves no mark. Yet hidden actions, whether words, images, or videos, can influence the heart and mind, planting seeds of lust, envy, gossip, and rebellion. Snapchat quietly conditions users to live in secrecy, feeding desires that are contrary to God's will. The platform also encourages obsession with attention and validation, amplifying pride and selfish ambition. It normalizes behavior that thrives in shadows, where accountability is absent and discernment is ignored. This environment can subtly erode moral boundaries, weaken spiritual defenses, and open invisible doors to demonic influence, all under the guise of entertainment. Snapchat is more than a messaging app. It is a doorway that seems to disappear but leaves lasting effects. The ephemeral nature of its content masks the permanence of its spiritual consequences, making it a dangerous tool in shaping hearts, minds, and desires in ways that may go unnoticed until it is too late. Chapter 4. Twitter, the platform of chaos and cursing. X, formerly known as Twitter, has become a global hub of rapid communication, but beneath its fast-paced updates and trending topics lies a spiritual battlefield. Every tweet, every retweet, and every reply carries the potential to influence hearts, spread unrest, and propagate hidden spiritual forces. Words, though seemingly harmless on a screen, can become weapons in the hands of the enemy, shaping thought patterns, emotions, and even actions. The platform thrives on outrage, conflict, and argument, feeding the spirit of discord. Users are constantly exposed to heated debates, insults, and slander, which cultivate anger, pride, and division. This environment trains the mind to respond impulsively, to gossip, and to carry grudges, creating fertile ground for spiritual deception. X amplifies negativity by rewarding attention-seeking behaviors and controversy. The more sensational or provocative a message, the more visibility it gains, conditioning users to prioritize engagement over wisdom, reaction over reflection, and conflict over peace. This subtle shaping of the mind can desensitize believers to spiritual truth and make them more receptive to influence from forces opposed to God. The platform has become more than just a network for communication. It functions as a stage where chaos and cursing are normalized, and where the spirit of contention quietly infiltrates hearts. What begins as casual scrolling or sharing can gradually align the user with patterns of division, anger, and spiritual unrest, leaving permanent marks on both character and faith. Chapter 5. Facebook, the familiar spirit of nostalgia and gossip. Facebook presents itself as a platform for connection and community, but it has quietly become a spiritual trap. Its focus on old friends, past memories, and endless feeds encourages the mind to dwell on the past, often reopening wounds and regrets that were never fully healed. The constant exposure to other people's successes and curated lives fuels comparison, envy, and discontent, subtly reshaping hearts without notice. The platform thrives on gossip and idle discussion, providing fertile ground for the spirit of distraction. Users are drawn into endless debates, viral stories, and controversies that shift focus away from God and eternal priorities. Even the act of scrolling through memories or shared posts can foster attachment to past experiences, causing the heart to linger on what was instead of trusting in what God is doing now. Facebook rewards engagement and attention, training users to seek affirmation through likes, comments, and shares. This pursuit of approval feeds pride, while the constant exposure to others' curated lives strengthens insecurity and comparison. The seemingly innocent act of connecting becomes a subtle battlefield where the mind, heart, and spirit are influenced by worldly patterns rather than divine guidance. The platform is more than a social network. It operates as a familiar spirit that draws attention to the past, magnifies gossip, and opens doors to distraction. Those who spend long hours immersed in its feed often find their hearts weighed down with unrest, envy, and longing for recognition, leaving them vulnerable to spiritual influence that can quietly erode faith and focus. Chapter 6. OnlyFans, the digital altar of lust and idolatry. OnlyFans has emerged as a platform where desires, fantasies, and secret longings are displayed and consumed openly. What presents itself as a business opportunity or a space for adult entertainment is, in truth, a spiritual battlefield. The platform feeds the spirit of sexual immorality, normalizing lust and objectification in a way that can subtly influence the heart, mind, and spirit. Through the endless consumption of explicit content, users become desensitized to sin, gradually aligning their desires with patterns that oppose God's design for purity and holiness. The attention given to creators becomes a form of worship, turning admiration for the body into idolatry and replacing spiritual focus with sensual craving. The platform thrives on vanity, lust, and self-glorification, making users participants in a culture that elevates fleshly desires above spiritual truth. OnlyFans functions as a digital altar, where the offering is not money alone, but attention, desire, and the surrender of moral boundaries. Christian hearts exposed to this environment without discernment risk being drawn into idolatrous patterns, opening doors for spiritual influence that is often hidden yet deeply destructive. In a digital age where temptation is available at a swipe, guarding the eyes, the mind, and the heart becomes essential. The subtlety of platforms like OnlyFans is what makes them so dangerous. They present pleasure and freedom while quietly shaping the soul toward lust, pride, and spiritual compromise. Conclusion: the digital world has become one of the most influential forces shaping hearts, minds, and desires. Social media platforms, entertainment apps, and online networks may appear harmless, but they carry spiritual weight, subtly influencing thoughts, emotions, and behavior. Each click, scroll, and interaction can either strengthen your walk with God or open doors to distraction, pride, lust, and deception. Guarding the spirit in the age of screens begins with awareness. Recognizing the hidden dangers behind viral trends, curated images, fleeting messages, and digital validation is the first step toward spiritual protection. It requires discernment, discipline, and the willingness to set boundaries that preserve purity of heart and clarity of mind. Practical steps to cleanse your digital life include removing or limiting access to platforms that consistently draw your heart towards sin, consciously choosing content that aligns with godly values, and replacing hours of idle scrolling with prayer, scripture study, and edifying fellowship. By actively curating what enters your mind, you can transform your online experience from a source of influence by darkness into a tool for reflection, growth, and spiritual reinforcement. Replacing darkness with light in every online space also involves intentionality in how you interact with others. Avoid gossip, slander, and negativity, and instead use digital platforms to share encouragement, truth, and wisdom. Every post, comment, and engagement can become an offering of integrity and faith, counteracting the subtle spiritual traps that seek to erode character and devotion. The digital age is unavoidable, but its influence does not have to dominate the heart. By guarding your eyes, ears, and thoughts, and by intentionally seeking content and interaction that glorifies God, believers can navigate screens with discernment, protecting their spirit and strengthening their connection to divine truth.